It is heartwarming to again share some of the history of the Lincoln Battalion. This history brings back another place, another time, but it also points to the continuing problems we urgently need to grapple with. The Lincoln history concerns me intimately, both as a person and as a citizen of a country where, even if the democratic idea did not originate here and is sometimes distorted, some of its brightest moments, some of its noblest heroes and heroines have occurred here. All those comrades who can't be with us but who are part of our commitment to carry on, to advance the dream we shared, a dream of America, the promised land flowing with steel and oil as well as with milk and honey. The poor came to a land aspiring for freedom. The enslaved and the oppressed came, not yet fulfilled. The dream can become a reality. It was our guideline in Spain. We came from every social strata in our diverse country. I was born in Rock Island, Illinois, 90 years and 11 months ago. I grew into manhood on both sides of the Mississippi. My story reflects a Midwest considerably different from that of today. A Midwest dominated by Amelie in Minnesota, Clarence Darrow and Altgeld of Illinois, and of course, Mark Twain, known the world over as Mr. American. It was a time when the glow of a powerful populist movement had not yet waned. Our country had not yet fully developed as a happy hunting ground for the greedy and power-hungry few. Union Army veterans sitting on Market Square regaled us youngsters with romantic stories of battles bravely fought. I remember shaking hands with a visitor from Indiana who came to our picnic in John Deere Park, Moline. I was 5 when I shook hands with Eugene Victor Debs. The Great Depression struck. Like many others in 1935, I rode the rails to New York City. By accident, I became a member of New Theater magazine's staff. I joined a studio group of the Workers' Laboratory Theater and also the Youth Theater, directed by Jules, later changed to John Garfield in Hollywood. New Theater was one of the loudest voices in support of democratic Spain. I earned my keep on WPA's Youth Service Division and as Director of Activities at the Progressive Interracial Camp, Camp Unity. After the summer back in New York, I volunteered to speak on street corners and from the back of vans on behalf of the North American Committee to Aid Spain. And I learned that 2 members of our Camp Unity staff were among the first 96 who volunteered to join the fight for the Republic. I spent 17 months with the Republic's fighting forces in transport. With Ralph Bates, the commissar of the 15th Brigade, I headed the Cultural Commission for the battalion and then runner for the 3rd Company of Lincoln's and then battalion scout on the retreats. Captured April 9th, I spent 17 and a half months in Franco's concentration camps, Alcanith, San Pedro de Cardenas, and Londereta. Now, physical hardships were totally at the whim of the commandante and his guards. Order was maintained principally by general or personal beatings. Emotional and creative life was of our own making. Many of us were relatively well educated and with at least some college development. We had values. We knew that to act on them was now our strongest weapon in our commitment to uphold the dignity of our democratic spirit. We organized the San Pedro Institute of Higher Learning with courses in languages, philosophy, economics, history, calculus, and more. We issued a one-page newspaper with paper stolen by our interpreters from the office. The newspaper was christened the Daily News. We enriched and deepened our minds. The paradox was that prison life provided time for detached thinking, and we lacked books. So like Tom Paine, we were forced to think, to reflect. At times we thought about our individual roles, other times about human destiny. They certainly were not the best or sweetest years, but learning did help get us through the ordeal. It was spring when I came, and it was the second fall when I left with 4 sharpened goals: universalism, scientific rationalism, moralism, and a world view and the conviction that ideas outlast institutions and outlast personal relationships. Our classes emphasize thinking in terms of universal humanity and less in terms of nationalism. It was Christmas Eve, 1936. 96 young Americans, of their own free will, boarded a ship in New York Harbor, and they set sail for a land that they'd never seen, a land where all was not calm, all was not bright. They spoke no Spanish. In Rock Island, there were no travel posters featuring swirling senoritas. We never heard of the flamenco. Sunny Spain, the land of bullfights, toreadoras, senoritas, and wine. It was there that the silent night was being torn by dum-dum bullets, where Benito Mussolini, Adolf Hitler, Francisco Franco sought to maximize their personal gains at the expense of others. And the fascists screamed, "To hell with the legitimately elected Democratic Popular Front government. To hell with the majority of the population who shaped the Constitution in the language of Tom Paine and Tom Jefferson." Franco and the Vatican objected to 5,000 new public schools, not church-dominated. Franco demanded subservience, no equal rights for women, no workers' right to organize. The Popular Front Republic brought literacy and dignity. Our future president, Catholic John Kennedy, then a student at Harvard, visited Franco's side during the war. On his return, he said, "The Republic side is in the right, morally speaking. Its program is similar to the New Deal." And he praised the Republic's religious policies, the separation of church and state. He said, "The Spanish people's attitude toward the church was just a reaction to the strength of the Jesuits, who had become much too powerful, the affiliation between church and state being much too close." If the Spanish War could have been fought with words instead of bullets and killing things, we would have had the enemy outgunned in typewriters 49-1 in America alone. All the words in the world, all the spirited willingness, all the support of so many people the world over who got the connection just wasn't enough.
Puente de los franceses, puente de los franceses, puente de los franceses, mamita mía, nadie te pasa, porque los milicianos